Mr. Olumide, if you're available right now, sir, please, I would like you to talk to us. Good evening.
Good day, Elvis, and regards to members of the panel. I've kind of listened to most of the submissions from the callers, and
Your drugs or whatever is the noise is coming, you know.
Okay, so I've kind of listened to submissions from Mr. Give Us Our Mandate and some of the callers. I just want to pick up from where Give Us Our Mandate left off.
Okay.
About solution. I think we've kind of talked enough since the last election. I mean, about solutions. I talked enough about the situation, the problem, and things are not about to change for the better. So I think it is high time we begin to talk about the many solutions available to the government. And if they like, they can act on it. If they like, let them not act on it. So, I mean, it is very clear. I mean, on a daily basis, multinationals are leaving the country. And things are only getting worse for the people. And it is very obvious that the people are fearful. Because the natural thing to happen is when things like this happen and when people see that they're about to lose their sovereignty to an impostor or to a dictator, then they march out in civil societies. But unfortunately, Nigerians they've been cowed, they've been treated daily with fear. You know, the answers that happened during the last Buhari regime was very obvious to us. And like I said, things are not about to change. People, we are hoping that we'll put the executive in check, the legislature, the judiciary, working independent institutions, obviously are not doing it and they are in cahoots with the government. But right now, we should be thinking of how Nigerians can get out of this lockdown. Because, I mean, we can keep saying one Nigeria. You understand? But right now, we don't have one country. It is very obvious that somebody like me that wants a sovereign state, a Yoruba sovereign state, maybe the Biafrans want their own sovereign state. You want a prosperous one Nigeria environment. But we want the same thing. But I think it is right. It is high time for the forces, the anti. This one is not even about anti-democratic forces now. The anti-people forces, the anti-prosperity forces, progressive forces within the country. Everybody has to come together as one to fight this. And then maybe those of us who are asking questions of the way things are or where, we can ask in a very civil way. Because it is very obvious that if I carry my Yoruba nation to these people, they would never listen to me. You want a free and fair election, they will never listen to you. So it's like we have a common, regardless of our differences, majority of us have a common cause. A place where we can all live in prosperity and make progress. So I think it's high time we begin to put. I mean, even during the Buhari regime, there were moments when elections were without influence. Maybe the Osun election, some House of Rep or Senate election, one or two. I think during that period, the international community, some Nigerian civil societies put pressure on the international community to put pressure on Buhari government. And I think they were banning some of his executive or some of his ministers and their families from coming to their countries, and they were forced to do the right thing. So I think it is high time, because if the natural thing is people should come out there, but they're not doing that. So maybe pressure, the civil society will mean well for the people should come out to influence the international community, to put pressure on this government to do the right thing. Because I think that is the most existential threat facing us now. For instance, the Ido election, governorship election is coming up. So are we going to watch for APC to rape the system, rape the people of good governance, when there's somebody with a good idea out there that can do the job, that wants to be governor, that wants to use the people's resources, all the allocations they get, to do the right thing for the people? I mean, I think it's left for the Ido people to kind of think about. And I think Labour Party seems to be the only opposition right now that has the reach that PDP and APC kind of have, and maybe they might not be as clean as we think they are clean, but maybe the vehicle that is kind of different, an alternative vehicle. Because I'm very particular that maybe if people, I mean, I'm not going to say opposition, I'm not going to say Labour Party or the opposition, I'm just going to say maybe the good people of Edo State, or the good people of Nigeria, can rally around Edo State to making sure that somebody who wants to deliver can do the job for the people of Edo State. I think this is vital, because the most, like I said, the most existential threat right now is the free and fair election. And they have to make the Beavers and IREV work for the people. They spend billions of naira. Why would they now resort to biro and paper? Because they want to keep controlling and subjugating the people under them. Keep controlling the people's resources and directing where that resources should go. And we have seen a very, very good examples of that today. You know, from the legislature to these, to government officials voting billions in renovation when there are obvious needs. So I think this is high time for everybody to come together, and because I'm really serious, because for me, I want a peaceful way of getting. If Nigeria will not listen to us as the Yoruba people, to allow us to use our resources to better our own lives, then I would rather that we leave the country and leave the complexities happening in the country. But we don't want to go to war. We don't want to fight war. We want to talk on a table. We're reasonable people. We want to talk on a round table and discuss the possibilities of working together as one country. And if it's not going to be possible, then to your tent, O Israel. We can do it in a peaceful way, not with war. But if these people don't leave options, peaceful resolution as a viable option open, then unfortunately there's going to be pushback at some point in time, because they can't keep raping the people all this while. So I'm just appealing to using your good channel, which is the megaphone, to all Nigerians, that the good people of Nigeria should rally around the Edo State. Let there be a free and fair election moving forward. I mean, it's unfortunate, and it was a pity that the last 3 off-cycle elections, when they should have been focused on that happening, we were still basking in the euphoria of or the negative euphoria of the last Supreme Court election decision. Because it would have been an opportunity for the opposition or the Labour Party to reorganize themselves and making sure their votes count. So because if people can vote anybody they want in and out, some of these crazy people will sit up. When they know they're not coming back in the next election cycle, they will go look for another job to do. but they've made themselves professional or how do I put it? Professional politicians. You know, they want to be there for the rest of their lives, misusing the resources of the people, because no development is going to come. It's not going to come to anybody if this keeps happening, where people can't elect who they want to lead them. I've been saying that on every platform that I've been to. It's apart from that constitution, that is another major that constitution we can deal with on a round table. There are many ways we can deal with that and resolve it. You know, ultimately maybe war, civil war, but we're not going to profile that as a fair solution. There are many ways we can deal with that. You understand? Maybe if we sit down and allow people to elect who they want to represent them in a free and fair election, some of these changes can occur gradually. You understand? But these people are setting us back. They're not allowing development. They're not allowing democracy to really take shape. When people say, oh, democracy is not for Africa, it's not for this, it's not for Nigeria, it's not. It is because people like this have not allowed, they've not given it a chance. They've not given it a chance. They've not allowed it. I mean, I don't know why we're allowing these people get away with this, because majority of these people, they will come to the kind of environment that me and you live in, and they can never behave this way. They will either shape up or they get locked up for life. But they are the ones destroying that society that we are in. And they don't even have shame anymore. We read about what they do in the news every day, in the dailies, online. And they have no shame anymore. And they come out to defend all of their corrupt, evil actions. They have no shame anymore. I mean, it is rather unfortunate that Nigerians, because Nigerians are helpless. That is the truth. If you're waiting for them to march out in unison, the North and South to march out all at the same time, you're not going to get that, because everybody, you are crying, for those of them, you're crying one Nigeria, but the truth of the matter is that every section of the country has one thing that they are worried about. There's one thing that they are clamoring for, that the system has not addressed. But to now get them to come out in one, you understand, it's going to be tough. And the only one way to rationally deal with it is through the people's sovereignty, the vote. And yet they've suppressed that. If things continue this way in 2020 to 2027, is this man now going to force himself and rig the election again on the people? That's just it. And if people are saying or making comments and saying there's never going to be anything in 2027, there's never going to be any election in 2027, how do you hope to prevent that? What are the actions that we're taking to prevent that? Are we going to get the international community to wade in and put pressure on these people, to letting them know that this government is not a credible government, that they are not making the institutions work for the people, particularly INEC, the law enforcement agency? You speak today, DSS will come to your doorstep. So I think we are all in a precarious position. Even as I speak daily, every day on every platform, I know personally that for me, it is going to be dangerous for me to go back home, not when this government exists. Because the moment I go home, they might arrest me, you know, or detain me, or find one way to kind of, you know, put me down. So I don't feel safe. But you know what? I'm determined. I'm not going to stop speaking. You understand? I don't care if he's a Yoruba man there. He's a crooked human being. You understand? And all of his other tribes that are with him. So for me, it is very important that Nigerians, we are in a very precarious situation. You understand? All this Emilokon nonsense that they are saying, that, I mean, we need to make our vote. People, the best thing, that is the very, very foundation of democracy before you can begin to make any changes. That is what America was founded upon. The America that we copy today. If Republicans, the Democrats fumble today, it is you get them replaced by Republicans. You might even find a Republican supporting a Democrat because they don't want Trump there. But at the end of the day, it is the vote that counts. No matter how much coalition we form back home, if your vote don't count, then what is the essence of the coalition? If your vote don't count, the vote must count. That is the cradle of any democratic dispensation. It doesn't matter whether it's a parliamentary system, it's a presidential system. The most important thing is you want to make change, you want to develop the society, you want the society to make progress and to deal with their leaders who don't do what they want. And the only way they can make that change happen is to vote them in or vote them out. And it starts with our councillors at the local government level, the chairman, the state house of assemblies. What was the last name again? So
can I interject you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Olumide, I want to pick one or two things from what you just said.
Yes.
You see, you said something about coming to a round table. Let me say this. I think we are beginning to change our tones. And that's a very big effect. Because if we begin to change our tone is going to have a tremendous effect. Now, you cannot bring somebody to the round table who is an autocrat without not having something to leverage that will choke them. That is the basic how you go about it. There's no way you can go about it. If you don't have anything that can choke them, you cannot bring them to the round table because they are on a course, they are on a mission, and they've set their mission to be accomplished. I want NAIJA for us to critically analyze the statement Agbado made when the woman leader went to London and he said, I have nothing for the North. That means he is not the president of the whole country. That is what I want to say. Thank you.
So what I've even
Okay, Olumide. Okay, you are back now. Okay, that's fine. Olumide, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
so what I'm even saying is that, see, Mr. Black Panther, I understand where you're coming from. See, I know that even sitting down and reasoning with the current government is most likely not a possibility. The reason why I say so is because it is the same APC government. We don't expect anything different from the last from the last regime that they took over from. And civil societies organizations that mean well for the country, NINAS, and some other ones that I don't know their names, have made all of this. They've written letters that I'm aware to the president. Even if he didn't fulfill all of those requests or those recommendations, at least he should have. If they meant well, they would have acted or shown or spoken about it and tell the people that they hope to act on it or make changes that will reflect, and maybe the reason why some of the NINAS and other organizations like that were not really listened to was because maybe majority of the people were happy when they passed the new Electoral Act. And we were hoping that there would be a free and fair election. Somebody like me was hoping that perhaps if Nigeria got it right with having a free and fair election and the people being able to choose their leaders at all levels of government, then maybe naturally things will shape up. You understand? And then we can begin to have real conversations that we should be having with people that we voted in, listening to us and trying to make those changes. But obviously, they want to keep things the same. We all saw what happened. So that is why I'm saying that all of us right now are in the same boat. You understand? We're in the same boat. Obviously, they don't want to sit down and talk. But what I'm saying is that the people back home who should rise and protest and resist this imposition obviously don't want to do it because they are afraid. You know, I don't blame them. It is the way the government operates as an authoritarian government, not a democratic government. They can lock you up and lock you up forever. Even Showore today, thank God for the US pressure and influence, they would have kept him locked up forever. Can you imagine? You know? But what I'm saying is that maybe those of us outside, right now, we should ask for one, at least put pressure. I mean, ask help from the international community to put pressure, whatever leverage we have, to put pressure on this government to allow the will of the people, how do I put it? To allow the will of the people occur. You know, we can't vote and then spend billions on election materials or technology, and then at the end of the day, it doesn't count for anything. When you are going to write the result with biro and paper, and it's all about resource control. It's all about controlling the people's resources, and if few people are controlling the people's resources, they will keep the people in poverty. They will keep the people from developing. They will keep the people from. I mean, Nigeria will not make progress as a people. So I think the first step is, I think we should I mean, personally, this is what I have seen. You understand? Otherwise, the only thing to resort to, if you are not going to ask international community for help to put pressure on these people, the only thing then to do logically, unfortunately, is to rise up and carry arms against the government. Because if a government that is supposed to be democratic will be authoritarian and will not listen to its people, will subject them to poverty and misuse their resources, at some point, some of these people, some parts of the country will rise up. It may not be all parts of the country, you understand? But at some point, when they rise up and carry arms, you won't blame those people. Then they will have a legitimate quest. Because these people want to survive. These people don't want their race to be extinguished in whatever form, whether through terrorism, whether through banditry, whether through in whatever form, whether through, I mean, you understand? So they want to remain relevant. And every country, according to the United Nations Charter, has the right to aspire to self-determination. But if we want the country to remain one, maybe we want to be one Nigeria, we're not going anywhere, we're not breaking, we're not this. We have to do it on the table of fairness and equity. At least the very first, if we say we are copying presidential system of democracy, or whether parliamentary or whatever form of democracy, at least let the vote, because that is the principle of democracy. Even in the UK or the US or Canada that we all stay in, we all know the government changes every day. It's not a do or die affair. The resources are for the people. It is the different ways that these parties, this kind of ideology that they have to use the resources for the people that differ. And the only way to make yours known is to allow the people choose who they want to lead them. But if you don't do that, because you want to steal the resources for yourself, because this is nothing but stealing, and if they are going to capture the judiciary in their pockets, and if people are left with nothing else to do, then someday they're going to resist forcefully. That's just it. They're going to resist forcefully, whether they are all ethnic groups from all parts of the country collaborating together to steal the people's resources. They are going to be resisted someday. And I will support anything to make the people happy, to make the people happy, to make the people use their resources for themselves. I will support anybody doing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Olumide. God bless you. Thanks for your wonderful submission. I believe one or two persons will respond to you. Please stay with us.